I've seen two different sides of it, and I feel that by putting yourself together and being stronger and actually moving on and not being in the victim mode helped me to be back to feeling 100% normal and happy. And I don't think the situation has changed. It's going to take time to change, but I'm in a better place because I choose to be in a better place, and I make different choices.
Let me ask you a question, because you're saying something really interesting. You're saying that you switch that victim mentality, and there's something very important for people. When we go through trauma in life, and that trauma doesn't have to be as severe as losing a loved one, even like a job or income dropping, anything like that. What happens is we get a tribe that forms around us. You get people that come around that comfort you. And I keep telling people, it provides temporary comfort, but it's a massive distraction. It's a massive distraction from you introspecting on what I need to do to heal from this and move forward. So you being able to shift out of that victim mode was probably a byproduct of you eventually carving enough time out to think, which is what I call individual mentality. And I keep telling people, in this COVID time, right, carve away time for solitude. Find peace with yourself.
It's so important. It's so important.
You know,
I think, sharing a personal situation here, which I think almost everybody who is watching us is going to relate to, on different levels. Going through trauma, being at home, eating things that you generally don't eat, a lot of maida, a lot of white flour, a lot of sugar, a lot of, for some, a lot of alcohol, because you just want to pass time, and then you gain weight, you feel unhealthy, you feel less productive, and it's downhill from there. And I think the first 3 months, for me personally, was that. It was literally trauma and then downhill, and almost feeling like, oh my God, it seems like everything is ended here, like what next? And then fearing the future. And I think at that time, you either need help and you have to go and ask for help if you have that mindset. Or with God's grace, there needs to be somebody who will come up, your family members, and they will come together and push you to bring you out of that. And I think that's what happened. That's what's happened with me. I had my close friends and family come and push me out of it and show me the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think immediately as I started changing, I started training, I started looking after myself, started eating healthy, started meditating, started, singing more, practicing music, making more music. I just feel that 4 or 5 months later, I am stronger than ever before in my life, and I see sun shining, and I just it's you're right, it's all perspective, and it's all what you teach yourself. So it's so important to get out of that victim mode, and I went through it personally, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
And you're 100% right, and what you said is so beautiful. There's a massive misconception in the world. We keep saying opposites attract, but in the spiritual world, like attracts like. So if you're in a negative energy state, you wouldn't do any high vibrational exercises. So singing is probably is a beautiful high vibrational exercise. Chanting, meditation. So when you were low, you probably didn't feel like singing. And once you start doing something positive or a higher vibrational exercise, the others will come. So the day you started exercising, you would have felt like singing. The day you started meditating, you felt like meeting people who are of a higher vibrational state. So it's so important to take the association of people who are operating at a higher energy level. And at times like this, we need them in our life. We need them to really pull us out of this. And it's true. It's the only way.
My other question is, what fears and predicaments can a person have to step out into the world again once they get used to the work from home, socially distant setups,
So I think that the challenge is going to be that working from home, attending Zoom meetings in your shorts, just spending 5 minutes, jumping out of bed, jumping into a meeting, is going to be some of the big challenges that they're going to face. They're going to get so comfortable in there, right? And now they're going to have to reorientate themselves towards going into that routine. My bigger fear, though, is that I ask people these interesting questions. When you ask people, how's the 6 months been? Everyone's like, it's been tough, but the thing that I appreciate is I got to spend more time with your family.
Yes,
and
all
that.
of us. Yeah.
So I said, okay, that's interesting. Let me ask you a question. The quantum of time's gone up. Has the quality of time increased? Tell me one thing that you've discovered new about each person living in your house. How many conversations that you had with an intention to really share, learn, be vulnerable, grow through each other's pain? And very few people can do this. So the quantum of time's gone up. The quality has not gone up. And my biggest fear is that whilst we've been in a situation, right, no one's really been mindfully present of what has happened. So my biggest fear is that whilst we've gone through something so remarkable that could have altered our entire perspective and shifted us onto a completely different plane, we were completely numb because we didn't put enough awareness into these things.
Yeah.
Right? So what's going to happen is we're going to just default to our old normal. And this is just going to be a year that we forgot.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas it could have been the year that really propelled you forward. Now, all of this is a byproduct of how much and how well do you know yourself.
Yeah.
One thing that I've really found fascinating is that every individual who had some sort of spiritual grounding pre-COVID were the ones who took the most out of this experience. People who didn't have any of these practices in their life were the ones who were most inundated by uncertainty. And I said, these are massive red flags, But the point is that you can only become aware of something if you focus on it. If you still the mind enough to focus on something, you will. And the scary thing is, you look at the consumption of digital content skyrocketed.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
It's crazy. People, they don't even have anything left to watch because it shows that we're just so distracted, isn't it? And now, how do you take a distracted mind and expect it to find and adapt to a new normal when it wasn't even aware of how it became distracted in the first place?
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you were to write a book on conversations of 2020, I mean, that would be quite a book to write.
It would,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so, on one sense, I feel people may struggle, but they'll struggle for the wrong reasons. Kanika, I'll tell you one thing that I think all our listeners should really be attuned to. I was talking about habits to someone. I was telling someone, habits operate on two planes. They operate in a subconscious plane and a conscious plane. Subconscious is brushing your teeth, things like that you don't think about. For you to change that habit, you need to bring your awareness to it. Habits that are more conscious, smoking a cigarette, taking drugs, having alcohol, meditating, exercising, they require you to think, remind yourself to do it.
Yeah.
And here is a great acid test. If a habit causes pain and discomfort when you're doing it, it's amazing. It's great for your growth. If a habit creates enjoyment that time, it's terrible for your growth. So think of the things that bring pleasure whilst you're doing it. Consumption of drugs, partying, alcohol, all of these things no one thinks twice about. They're enjoying it.
Yeah, because the conversation is, it's just fun for the moment.
Exactly. Now everything.
But it's after that moment that you really suffer.
Exactly.
If you drink, if you do drugs, if you do anything you suffer.
You suffer.
Few hours later you suffer.
You're suffering. But the thing that makes you suffer in that moment, exercise is not easy, meditation is not easy,
nothing.
breathwork is not easy, but those are the things, you stack them up day after day, they really make you the best version of yourself. So the best acid test for everybody is try to do exercises that you don't like doing at that moment, because that's what's driving you towards becoming the person you want to be.
I agree with you.